Hello everyone, my name is Malavika and today I am going to discuss about internal and external quality assessment. So what is quality assessment? Quality assessment is evaluation of results which are obtained in a lab using known standards and proficiency panels so that we can validate the quality control and quality assurance programs. It can both be internal and external. In internal, the lab staff performs the verification test, whereas in external quality assessment, an agency which is outside the lab is tasked with examining the lab's performance. So what all does an assessment carry? It carries plans, audit, evaluation, analysis, as well as quality. Each and every one of these points are essential for the smooth functioning of a laboratory or an industry. So what is the difference between a quality control and a quality assessment? Well, quality control refers to the technical activities which are employed to ensure the laboratory results are reliable. Quality assessment refers to the procedures which are taken to evaluate the effectiveness and efficiency of all or part of the quality management system so that we'll obtain an evidence which possess the criteria which are set in order to be met. It also involves data collection and analysis to determine the level at which standards are adhered to. In cases where these standards are not met, a report which states the reasons for the failures are made as well as corrective measures are also included. Next is the quality assessment process and documentation. The quality assessment in the lab should be regular to adequately monitor the effectiveness of the laboratory quality management system. It must be monitored on a daily basis so that the laboratory quality management is effectively carried. There are two types of assessments or audits that are available, which can be used to give useful information to improve process and procedures in the lab. They are internal quality assessment and external quality assessment. So what does an internal quality assessment mean? An internal quality assessment can act as a preparatory event for an external quality audit. So, an internal quality assessment takes part before the external quality audit. It can be used to quickly identify any non-conformance and give the lab an opportunity to rectify any issues that have been occurred before an external quality audit happens. It can be performed as frequently as needed, especially when a problem is identified within the lab workflow. So, internal quality assessment is done prior to the external quality assessment. In order to get a successful internal quality assessment, a lab quality manager should follow some guidelines. They are: he or she should ensure that there is a formal plan for the internal quality assurance test, and it should include various checklists and recommended guidelines and standards to be followed by the people working in the laboratory or the industry. He or she should identify the personnel who are yet to carry out the assessment. It is important to appoint staff from different areas to assess workflows that they are not routinely involved in. In addition, the appointed auditors must have the technical skills which are needed to evaluate such an area and have a good grasp of the lab's quality management system. Then he or she should consolidate information from internal auditors and prepare a report on the findings. They should share or present the findings with the laboratory management and the staff. And while filing the findings as part of the permanent lab recovery method to be used to monitor the process of improvement in conformance. So in brief, what does internal quality assessment carry? It carries analyze, evaluate, planning, and improve. In analyze, it is used to study or examine something in detail for an explanation. The reason for evaluation is to determine or estimate the significance, quality, or value of an assessment. In planning, a detail or a process of thinking and organizing step by step to achieve a desired goal is planned. And the last step is to improve, that is to make something better in a particular way. Next is the external quality assessment. The external quality assessment or EQA involves a comparison of the lab's testing and analysis performed similar or other lab as a reference laboratory. A laboratory can undergo an EQA for a variety of reasons. They include because it is a mandatory legal requirement by local or national authorities, or as part of the process of accreditation, certification, or licensure. Some funding organizations may require such validation of performance so that they'll get the lab qualified to receive their funds. Or the EQA process can be carried out through proficiency testing, retesting of samples already analyzed in the lab undergoing auditing, and on-site evaluation. In brief, the external quality assessment carries several points such as to evaluate the effectiveness of the delivery of internal audit, to evaluate the delivery of internal audit, to examine internal audit working papers from assignments completed, to meet and discuss internal audit performance with key stakeholders and staff, and to aggregate evaluations and discuss conclusions. So what is proficiency testing? Proficiency testing is the most widely used external quality assessment tool that tests a lab's performance and the competency of the personnel. It involves challenge tests where the outside agency or lab providing the proficiency test sends an unidentified sample or a test material to the lab which is undergoing auditing. The lab is supposed to use the routine test and workflow procedures, that is, to treat the test sample as any other sample sent into the lab. This test is carried out to ensure the results correctly reflect the lab's abilities. Once the test is complete, the results are sent to the proficiency test provider who has given the sample to communicate the scores of the challenge. This score is used to test the effectiveness of the lab's quality management system. Next is retesting. Retesting involves the independent re-examination of tests. It is appropriate only for certain labs and tests such as hematology and pathology tests where the precise samples can be tested against a reference. The process will be blinded whereby the evaluators do not know the reported results from the lab being audited. The last one is the on-site assessment, which gives a real-time assessment of procedures and staff competence. It involves periodic visits to the lab by the evaluators. The last step of the internal and external quality assessment is the documentation. The IQA and the EQA produce an audit report which carries certain points. They include the identification of areas within the laboratory workflow where quality standards are not being met, preventive and corrective actions to be taken to address non-conformance issues, or any training needs for the staff. So what is the importance and benefits of a quality assessment plan? It provides an early warning for systematic problems associated with certain procedures, reagents, and equipment failures. They indicate areas of non-conformance that are in need of improvement. It identifies the staff training needs. The assessment is required for accreditation or certification by authorities and standards organizations. And the successful assessment and validation of compliance lead to the customer or funders assurance. Then it is important for the maintenance and continuous improvement of the quality system. So these are some of the sources where I've referred for this particular topic. So by keeping in mind of all these topics, the quality assessment of a laboratory or industry can be successfully followed. Thank you.